The biggest mistake people make when their feet hurt is buying the softest shoes they can find. If something hurts, you want to protect it, but more cushioning doesn't always mean less pain. A soft shoe doesn't just absorb impact, it changes how you land, how much your foot sinks, how hard your muscles work, and where that load goes. That is why two people can wear the exact same max cushion shoe and have completely different experiences. One person says, "This feels soft and protective." Another says, "This feels unstable and mushy." Both can be right, because your brain is not only judging the foam, it's also judging whether your body feels safe, stable, and in control. So in this video, I'll show you why soft shoes help some people, but make some others worse. How to tell if your shoes are part of the problem, and what to change before a comfortable shoe becomes a problem. The first reason soft shoes are so misleading is what I call the first step effect. This is when a shoe feels perfect the second you put it on. The heel sinks in, the ground feels softer, and the pressure under the foot drops. So your brain immediately thinks, this must be better for me. But that first step is not the real test. The real test is what happens after 5,000 or 10,000 steps. Think of walking on soft sand. At first it feels gentle because there's less hard impact, but after a while your feet and calves start working harder because the ground keeps moving underneath you. A very soft shoe can do something similar. It may reduce the harshness of the ground, but your body still has to control what happens on top of that foam. And this is where most people misunderstand cushioning. When you land, your body does not only absorb shock through the shoe, it absorbs shock through movement. Your arch lowers, your ankle and knee bends, your muscles and tendons lengthen slightly. That movement helps spread force, and it's called active shock absorption. Now here's the interesting part. When the surface under you is firmer, your body often moves more to absorb the shock. That is why some people actually feel better in lower stack or more flexible shoes. The foot and ankle get more feedback from the ground, so they can move and absorb shock before as much force reaches the knee. You can sometimes see this with knee osteoarthritis. Some people do better in a lower, more flexible shoe because it lets the foot and ankle do more of the work, rather than relying on a big block of foam underneath them. But soft shoes can create the opposite reaction, because the foam is already compressing, and because soft shoes can feel less stable, your body may stiffen up to try and find control. So instead of your joints moving more freely to absorb shock, you may land more rigidly. The shoe feels cushioned, but your body may not be shock absorbing as well as you think. That is why cushioning does not always mean less load. So the question is not, are soft shoes good or bad? The question is, does your body need more motion to absorb shock or more control to stop painful movement? The easiest way to answer that is to look at your foot type, because a flexible foot and a rigid foot can react completely different to the same soft shoe. Let's start with the flexible foot, because this is where soft shoes can cause the most problems. A flexible foot changes shape a lot when you stand on it. You might have an arch when you sit down, but when you stand up, the arch drops, the foot spreads, the ankle rolls in, and the toes may start gripping. This foot type often needs more help controlling movement. Now put that foot on a very soft, high stack shoe. Even if the body stiffens overall, the platform underneath is still compressing and deforming, so your foot may not get a clear base to push against. It's a bit like trying to balance on a thick cushion. You might not be bouncing up and down, but your toes, ankles, and arches are still working hard to keep you steady. That is the warning sign. Comfortable underfoot, but tiring over time. For flexible feet, very soft shoes can feel nice while quietly making your arch, ankle, and tendons work harder than they should. A rigid foot is different. It's usually higher arched, stiffer, does not absorb shock as well by itself. So cushioning can help by softening the ground and reducing the pressure under the heel and the forefoot. But if the foam is too soft or unstable, you may feel perched on top of the shoe, roll to the outside, or irritate the outer foot and ankle. So foot type is the first filter, but there is another problem. Two shoes can both feel soft in the shop and behave completely different once you start walking. One shoe feels bouncy and controlled, and another feels like your foot is sinking into wet sand. That comes down to two things: how much the foam squashes and how quickly it springs back. The simple way to think about it is this: compliance is how easily the foam compresses, resilience is how quickly it returns to its shape. The more your foot sinks, the more your body has to search for stability. That is fine if you're trying to strengthen your feet, But if you already have pain, fatigue or tendon irritation, you may need a shoe that calms things down, not one that makes your foot work harder. So here are 3 quick checks. First, compare your arch sitting and standing. If your arch drops a lot when you stand, be careful with a soft, tall, unstable shoe. Second, stand on one leg for 20 seconds. If your toes grip, your ankle wobbles, or your arch keeps dropping, your foot is already working hard to stabilize. A very soft shoe may make that job harder. Third, check your big toe. Stand up and try to lift your big toe. If it barely moves or feels painful, you may need a shoe with a rocker sole, not just more softness. That rocker can help you roll forward so the big toe does not have to bend as much. Now let's make this practical. If your foot is flexible, your arch drops, or you get plantar fasciitis or inside ankle pain, do not chase more foam. You probably need more control. That could mean firmer cushioning, a wider base, sidewalls, stability features, or an insole. The New Balance 860 V15 or the Axis Gel Kayano 33 could work well here. If your Achilles is the problem, look at heel to toe drop. A higher drop can often reduce the demand on the calf or the Achilles, especially if you've moved from a traditional shoe into something like a lower drop too quickly. And we have a video on this that you can look at here. If your knees are a problem, especially with knee arthritis, do not assume the biggest, softest shoe is always the best. Some people feel better when the foot and ankle are allowed to move more naturally, because you can help absorb shock before the load reaches the knee. Others may still prefer a cushioned rocker style shoe because it limits painful movement. We also have a video on this that you can watch. So with knee pain, the question is not just cushioning, it's whether the shoe can help you move comfortably. But if you have high arches, heel fat pad pain, or pressure under the forefoot, a max cushion shoe may be exactly what you need. Think of something like the Bondi 9 or the Brooks Glycerin Max 2. Just choose one that feels stable underneath you, not one where your foot sinks in like a marshmallow. So the takeaway is simple. Stop choosing shoes by the first step. Choose them by how your body feels after 10,000 steps. If your foot is stiff or sensitive to pressure, you may need more cushioning. If your foot collapses, feels unstable, or you get tired in soft shoes, you probably need more control. But if you have any questions on this, let me know in the comment section below. A link to the shoes that we discussed in the video in the description below if you want to check out the latest prices. And we've got categories of all different types of conditions that you can check out on our channel if you want to find out any more specific information. Thank you very much for watching.